This weekend,
Donnelly suspended. Stuart Finlay out. He's had his operation now. Had that done last week. I don't think I've mentioned that yet. He's out for the best part of 3 to 4 months. Stu. So he had that operation in London last week. David Watson came off at half time on Saturday with a little thigh strain, thigh stroke hip. So we're just trying to get that settled for the weekend. But at the minute, I would have to say he's a wee bit touch and go. And Matty, who missed last week, which was missed his creativity, again hasn't trained with the squad this week so far. But he's had an injection in his back, which caused a spasm. So we're hopeful he can be ready for the weekend.
Of course, there's been a lot of attention on the red cards. What have you said and done here?
Do you know what? Nothing more than I've said to them previously. I don't want to get into it. It's not doing me any favours. I don't think that talking about it all the time. I don't believe we are an over excessively physical team. Or apart from one off the ball, Joe Wright at St Mirren. I actually don't think a lot of the red cards have been. I think we've been punished to the full extreme. So I don't believe we have a discipline problem, but the amount of red cards would suggest otherwise.
Do you think it's playing on the players' minds at the minute?
No, I don't think so. I think I've got to be really careful. I think all managers, but I think when players get booked, Robbie Dees get booked at last Saturday, first half, wins the ball clear as day in front of me. Referee books him, and even then we're thinking, maybe we need to get Deesy off here because we're seeing players getting sent off for 2 or cautioned for 2 tackles far too often. I do think the bar's been set so low this season. I don't know why that is, but we're not seeing the same offence being consistent. It's dependent on the referee you get. It's not the offence. I've looked at games with similar things that we've been punished for over the piece, over every other weekend, and I don't see the same yellow card offence for these ones. So it's depending on what referee you get, I think, a lot of the time, not what offence you make.
Do you feel your team are being unfairly punished, or do you think it's just a case of consistency, or what do you think?
Yeah, I don't want to go down this road here because it's like we need to deal with it. It's our responsibility. If the bar's set lower, then we need to make sure that I've said this before, squeaky clean. But I thought I do think we've been on the wrong end of a few things. I thought last Saturday I was disappointed with a lot of the decisions that were getting put out, none more so than the red card. But we've got to make sure if the bar is set lower, and it's not just for us, then we've got to make sure that we're as good as we can be in these instances. I do think that as managers, myself included, that if we get yellow cards for players, particularly in the first half of games, then I probably do need to think about taking players off, which hasn't been the case before. I've been managing 17 years now, but I do think it is a bit different. I would be apoplectic with Liam Donnelly if he doesn't make a challenger. He's a midfielder. I'd be going off my head if he doesn't go and make a tackle. The ball's there to be won. It's not to say every offence is a yellow card offence, and we need to get away from this.
We were chatting to Joe right there about how he had a chat with you and he's maybe to adapt his game a wee bit, stay on his feet a bit more. Is that being a message to the players, or are you still looking for them to go into every challenge as hard as they can, really?
But if you actually look at what we're actually getting penalised for, it's not so much that going to ground and it's we're just trying in training to make sure we're not pulling people in training and making a foul that gets punished now in training. There's a fine for that, and we've spoke about this. We always would want our defenders to stay on their feet and not go to ground anyway, so there's nothing new from that. I think we've just got to be as smart as we can be. We understand it's a physical game, it's a contact game, tackles need to be made. I expect my players to make tackles, but I'm not seeing what I'm seeing getting punished isn't us being excessive. There's no brutality, there's no, other than Joe, as I said, at St Mirren, And in that game, there was 2 worse offences from the opposition that don't get punished. You know, it's apart from that one. I said I wasn't going to talk about referees. You said, oh bad, you're all ganged up. So again, it's like we can only do what we need to do. I don't believe we're a dirty team. Actually, I've always prided myself on my teams being competitive, and I don't want to take that competitiveness away from them. But we do need to think long and hard as a staff about substitutes now, maybe getting people off. Deasy last week getting booked early on was difficult enough for us to deal with, because he's a defender and you expect defenders to make challenges. But like I say, you know, I feel as though a lot of the times this season we've had red cards for 2 offences, and I don't always believe that they've been the same offences being punished in every game we see. It's different. So that consistency is something that I'm sure Willie has. It's something that Willie is striving for in the refereeing department. But we need to be agreeable here that we're not seeing that consistency, and it's almost now this just acceptance that we expect bad decisions, and I don't think that's a good thing for us all to accept just bad decisions.
It's quite a development, Derek. You're saying 17 years as a manager, now you're considering taking players who are booked in the first half off.
Yeah, because even now you would normally, I've said in the past to my staff, if he's one with a foul, maybe need to take him off. But a lot of time you're not even getting that. You know what it's like when a player's been booked, and we watch games all the time, and you hear commentators and like, he needs to be careful, he's been booked already, he's made a challenge, and it's then you see all the benches and all have that discussions, right, mate. But a lot of time we're not even getting the chance to make that change. It's like full letter of the law is coming right down on you, and I just feel I'm not seeing that all the time to the referees. I'm seeing in different games different decisions to what we're getting. But if that's the way it is, that's the way it is. It's not going to change for me. But I do think that the bar is set so low.
Was there a directive or anything from Willie at the start of the season, like, you know, certain challenges will be punished differently, like maybe softer yellow cards out? There was nothing handed down that?
No.
Just can I ask you then about Dundee then, just moving on from the discipline stuff. I said the same to Joe, it's always a game that's full of goals, and I just wondered what you would put that down to. Is it because you and Tony know each other so well? Or?
No, I think that both teams are kind of similar in terms of setup. A lot of the time, you know, it's 2 strikers for each team on the pitch. A lot of late goals. You know, I think both teams have had maybe a history of being good with set plays, and a lot of goals, and the drama towards the end of games has been set play drama. Games can be quite open. You know, obviously it was the first time we lost last time out, and it was a hugely disappointing manner in which we did lose. It's unusual we're playing Dundee for the 3rd time, and we're not even out in November yet, and we've not even played Motherwell yet. So it's mad how the way the fixtures throw themselves up. But you know, they've always been really close games in general, and obviously we were on the wrong end of it the last time. So it's important that we just try and, you know, we've got 10 games now, 6 of those at home. It's important we try and capitalise on that. 13 league games we've had, 8 of those have been away from home. We've only had 5 at home. I think this is our only second game on a Saturday at 3 o'clock at home, and we're nearly into December. So we've always had leaned on our home form, and it's important that we try and capitalise that now. The next 10 games between now and the 8th of January, you know, the games come thick and fast, but the majority of them are at home for us after that. And I think Saturday presents itself with a real challenge for us to go and try and make some hay, try and get some points on the board, and hopefully talking about a winning Kilmarnock performance and feeling good about ourselves rather than first question about injuries or discipline. So it's important we try and kind of just get back to winning ways.
Have you set a target for, I don't know, the 8th of January? Like, you know, is there a league position you want to be in, a point tally you've got?
I think when you come out of these games, that will be you. You've played everybody twice after that. You know, once you've come through those games, I always think that's once you come through the festive fixtures, it gives you an indication of where you're going to be. We're only one win less than where we were last season at this stage, and obviously we're going to get 56 points and finish 4th in Europe and all the rest of it. So we know that it's it's not beyond us being that team again and to get into top 6 whatever, but we need to try and start getting wins now rather than waiting further down the line, talking about discipline, talking about Europe. We're done with that now. You know, it's important that now towards the end of November, the fixtures coming thick and fast, it's important we try and recognise the importance of, yes, being as positive as we can, but also being as good as we can and looking for better performances, because I think on Saturday as an away team we went up, nobody's wiping the floor with us. We went up on Saturday, I thought we were a better team. I thought we controlled large aspects of the game, and I actually thought we defended really well as an away team, but apart from the one moment which cost us. And equally we arrived time and time again at their box. We've done so much right in the game to arrive at their box. 14 corners, 7 wide free kicks, 21 opportunities to put the ball in the box, and we've no laid a glove on them really with the keeper. So that's on us. We've got to make sure we're better at that end and try to be more profitable. And I believe it's in us. You know, it's a good thing is last season's a great reference for me to the players, because it's more or less the same squad again. As I say, we're one less than we were this time last year. Last season's a reference for what can be done, but equally we've got to work hard to be that team again.
Going back to Stuart, Derek, that's a long time he's out. Are you going to look at for a centre half in the transfer window?
Yeah, I think obviously with the fixtures coming up, you know, obviously there's a lot of games, so you know, I think we've just about got enough at the minute in that sense. But you know, I think with Stu probably been out to the end of March. You know, that's a long time away, and he's such an influential defender. We probably will look to try and add to the squad in January. What becomes the priority is normally what the fallout after these December games. What's the priority? But I would say if this was the first day of the window opening, then maybe defensively is an area we would look to try and bring in somebody.
There's only 8 points between yourself and fourth. That part of the table is very congested. Just what difference can we run here in December make?
Yeah, I think we've had one strong, unbeaten run already this season, and it took us into the top 6. But equally on the back of losing a few games now, we're back down into the kind of bottom end of that little group that you're saying, and we want to make sure that with these 10 games coming up, particularly the ones at home, and having that kind of more home games than away games, it's important we try and, as I say, make some hay and try and be that team that's unbeaten, try and get as few wins as possible and climb the table. I would hope that what I expect of the team and what I expect for ourselves is by the time we come out of these fixtures in January, we would be more or less at a halfway stage, and we would look to try and be in the at least mid-table and trying to be in that top half and looking to push on for there.